with a whispering wind, a pack on my back where the trail begins. The pine trees sway as the rivers hum. To the call of the wild I will come. Out into the wild where my heart feels free, through the mountains tall and the cedar trees, hunting dreams that the still woods hide. Every day's a journey, chasing the wild side.
Good morning, guys. Dallas with Pursuing the Wild 365. It is Saturday, November 8th, and it's almost 9 in the morning. Did not get an interview in this morning before I made it out of the truck, but finally got set up in my spot here probably about an hour and a half or so ago. It's been an interesting morning. On my way in, I had to stop. There were a bunch of deer or something feeding off beyond where I was trying to get through the woods. So I had to stop and wait for them to feed through so I didn't bump them. And so I didn't make it more than halfway before first light and just had to sit down and wait. After first light came through, got up and started still hunting. I only had like 200 yards to cover. Covered it in a little over an hour and a half, I think. But while I was working my way through, I had 2 deer, a doe being chased by a 4-point, run up within 10 feet of me, and I didn't get the chance to move. I just froze. I was standing next to a tree, just tried to hide up in the tree as much as I could, and doe stopped, stared at me for, felt like forever, and then I don't know what she didn't like, because she couldn't really see my face, couldn't see my eyes. All I could see were her feet. But she took off running the other direction, blew some, and ran up and around. So, sorry, I keep thinking I'm hearing deer move. So I got up into where I've been trying to get to all morning. I think I might be here all day. I don't know. We'll find out. Once I got here, I have seen, I think, six bucks. A spike. One was a small 4. I think one was a 6. There was a good 8 and a good 10. The 10 was really good. They're all cruising through. They're making it about 80 yards from me. I probably should have set up a little closer to where they are, but I wasn't quite sure which elevation band they were going to run. I'm on the flattest right now, one that usually gets some good feeding activity. And yeah, so I set up here and we'll see how long it goes. My buddy Jacob's not with me today. He was supposed to be, but he got invited to go to a piece of private with a friend of his that has been trying to get him out hunting with him for a while. Excuse me. And he shot a good buck. I don't know how big it is. I haven't seen pictures. They haven't gone to look for it yet. But he put an arrow through it right about 7:30. he didn't make it to where he was trying to go either. There's a doe in the field, or deer in the field. He thinks it was a doe, but he's not sure because it was dark. So he kind of sat down on the ground and just waited, and he had deer around him till first light. And then he had a 4-point push a doe past him, and he didn't try to get a shot at the 4-point or the doe. And another damn gunshot. But anyway, he had this other buck come out. He said it was a really, really good one, big one, and he was chasing a doe, and he ran 10 yards and stopped, pegged him at 10 yards, and he started to booger, and Jacob was able to get him stopped at 25, and he stopped almost perfect broadside from what Jacob remembers, and he put an arrow through him right as soon as he stopped. And so they're giving it a little bit of time. It was a little back, but hopefully it'll be a good one. He says if he's able to find it, it's going to be the biggest buck that he's ever hit. I don't know how long they're going to wait to go recover it, but he's really pumped. He's feeling really blessed with what happened this morning. Man, that's got to be the gun range. There's just too many shots. So I'm hoping I get to see something come through closer. A lot of squirrels right now. Acorns dropping right here. So I may just stay here all day. I don't know. But anyway, that's my morning update. I may cut some of this out. I don't know. Too much dead air. That's a nice little 4-point. Goodness. Alright guys, so I just got down out of the tree. Right before I got down, I had a really nice 10-point cruise through. I got the camera on him, I was filming, or thought I was filming, but I got the camera on him and was following him, only to find out as he walked out of the frame that I never hit record. So I'm sorry guys, but kind of regretting shooting the little 4-point because that 10-point walked by, but out here on on public, kind of got to shoot what you can when you're meat hunting, and so I dropped him not knowing if anything else would be by. And of course, a good deer comes by like 2 hours later. But got my bag with my gear, most of my gear. I left the stand and sticks and camera arm and everything up there. But let me flip this around and I will show you kind of what my setup looks like from the ground. Alright, so we got my bottom stick. I made some 8ers yesterday. There's my secondary stick. I threw my 3rd stick up there and got myself set up. See my platform right there and the camera arm sticking out. So it's set up, sitting there in between those two Y's of the white oak here. And I'd gotten down earlier, checked my arrow, just see what type of blood it was. It looked like lung and possibly some gut. He was coming from up over there, came down this trail. Right here when I shot him, you can see the hair, arrows covered in it. But yeah, right there. He took off running down that way. So I'm gonna see if I can find blood, trail him. But my arrow doesn't look 100% the best. I mean, there's some blood. I don't know. I feel like it might have gone back a little bit on the way out. But I'm shooting the G5 Mega Meats. 2-inch cutting diameter. Those blades aren't really torn up. Man, those blades did good. But I'm going to start seeing what I can find. Alright. Well, first spot, I started a track on my Onyx. There's some more. Some good dark. Oh yeah, that definitely came out back. I'm glad I gave him a little bit of time. Oh yeah, guys. Definitely a good hit. I know he was a little further back than I wanted, but there is still good blood. Okay, guys, made it almost 1/10 of a mile, feeling the blood, and no, I found him. Like I said, he's not big, but it's meat. I needed to put meat in the freezer, so I took it, but I feel so blessed. Well, I found it. I'm not quite sure how old he is. He's not too young. He's a little bit of a fighter. He broke off this tine. It's got a little one, kind of starting right here. But yeah, he'll be juicy, be some good food. So I'm a little excited. Not the biggest bucks I've seen out here. Not the smallest. He's not my smallest buck by far. And he's not my biggest, but hey, I'm blessed. I'm very blessed to be able to put any meat in the freezer, and it's been a rough year, guys. It's been a very rough year. Last 12 months have been rough. God's blessed me. I'm very lucky. But I better start cutting this guy up, getting him in a game bag, and at least hang him. Collect the bag on the way out. I don't know. I've got a doe tag. I'm thinking about after I get him cooling off, I might come sit back in my tree and see if I can get a doe to come by. But I don't know. He's not as young as I thought he was. But I don't know. I'm blessed. First archery buck harvest, and I don't know. I see people posting pictures of big bucks all the time, and I feel I don't know. I feel a little bit of regret taking him because I know. I mean, he's got some potential. He could grow another year, another 2 years. Could be a good deer, but I don't know. I set out knowing that I'm a meat hunter primarily. Yes, I'll chase a buck with good antlers, and I want to take one every year. But primarily, the meat. That's why I do it. I'm out here for the food because it's what it's why I'm here. We eat a lot of venison every year. I don't know. There's 4 of us, and we host, so we're usually feeding 4 mouths most of the week, and then on the weekends there's Oftentimes it'd be 6 to 10. So we go through a lot of venison. It's a very healthy source of meat. Wow, they out here they live on grass and acorns. No corn, no genetically modified food, no beans. It's all grass and acorns out here, and that's studies have been out and shown that it's one of the healthiest forms of meat. And so that's why I do it. End of the day, it doesn't matter how big or small they are to me. I'm out here to put food on the table. Gotta feed my kids. Gotta feed my wife. I get to be out here and be watching these gorgeous animals. God's amazing creation. I get to enjoy it. I get to spend time with God. Ultimately, that's what matters. That's what it comes down to. I don't know. It's what we were made for. All right, my friends. So after an hour, I got the deer all quartered out, dressed, and taken care of. Got the antlers cut off. I wasn't going to skull cap it and take out a skull that small, but I wanted to keep the antlers. I try and keep them off every kill. It's part of the memory, you know. But did the gutless method, so quartered them out, cut out the back straps, the tenderloins, cut off any extra meat that I wanted, and I got it all bagged up. It's in a bag. It's 1:30 now. Trying to decide, do I take 2 hours, hike out, drop it off at the truck, come back, and sit in the stand, or do I take down my stand and pack it out? I don't know. I don't want to be coming back in at 3:30 in case someone else comes in, and I don't want to screw up their hunt. But yeah, I don't know. Not sure what to do. But I'll flip around, give you guys a quick look. Alright, so I've got everything quartered up, put in this bag. It's front hind quarters, everything. That was his left side. There's the right. But I've got about a mile hike, I think. Nah, more than that. It's going to take me about an hour to get back, and then to get back out here. So I don't know. I might just hang quarters up in the tree here next to where I dressed him out. I don't know. Alright, my friends. All packed up and loaded up. Got the bow on the back. Got all the meat. Got the antlers stuffed in there. I've notched and checked my tag, so we are good to go. Gonna hike to the truck. It'll probably take me about an hour. And then I'll hike back and decide what to do from there. But finally got it done. I cannot tell you how relieved that makes me. Like, it's crazy how relieved I am. It's good to finally be putting meat in the freezer. It's been a tough 7 sits. It's been a tough year, but it's been a tough 7 sits, and I'm glad I finally broke the streak. I'll see you guys on down the trail. Alright guys, so dropped the deer off at the truck, and I am now headed back from the stand. I just packed it all up, headed back to the truck. So hopefully it'll be a quick hike out and I don't bump anything. When I got up here, it sounded like something got bumped down the draw from me. I don't think I did it. I ran into another bowhunter out here when I was coming out with the load of meat, and excuse me, and he said that he was thinking about coming up in here, and I warned him, told him that I had to come back in and get my stuff, and he was like, well, I mean, if you bump something past me, that's fine with me, but I don't know if he made it back here. Nice older guy, but we'll see. Now the hike out, and then I'm homeward bound. Alright guys, so recap from November 8th, sit number 7. Man, it's been a day. It's been quite the day. I feel so blessed. It's crazy. Just made it up to the truck after my second trip out. It's 4:25. I just finished bringing all my sticks and platform and everything up. Man, it has been a blessed day today. I got out a little late. Well, later than I wanted. And so I started getting in. Probably, I think I was 30 minutes later than I wanted to be. But I got in, started hiking in, got about halfway to my spot, and heard deer feeding or moving through ahead of me. So I sat down, stopped, and waited for them to move on. And about first light, which was 6:10, got kind of quiet. Then I started hearing squirrels come out. And I gave it a few more minutes, waited till about 6:20, and started to hike on towards my spot. More still hunting than hiking. And so I hiked on, got almost to my spot, and I think I see deer way up there. It's on private. Yep, it's definitely deer. That's funny. That's really funny. Anyway, so I was almost to my spot, and I had stopped and was kind of leaning against a tree, watching and making sure everything was clear before I took a few more steps, and had a doe come running straight down the hill at me. She stopped like 10 foot away, just straight on. I kind of dropped my hat, put my hat down, just kind of looking under the brim like that, and she had a 4-point behind her, and he stopped, and she was just staring at me. And I don't know what she saw that she didn't like, but something made her nervous. So she turned and ran, blowing. She ran back up the hill and went around towards where I'd kind of been hoping to sit. So I gave it a few moments and then slowly started still hunting up towards the spot I'd picked on the map. And I got almost to my spot. And my buddy Jacob, he texted me, and he's like, I just smoked a big buck. He was hunting with his buddy up on some private that his friend had been trying to get him to go hunt for a long time, and he'd been hunting with me, so he hasn't been going out with him. So he finally went with him and ended up shooting a big buck. Really happy for him. It's awesome. He's shot a big buck. It was his first buck with a bow, and it's by far his best buck. I don't know if I'm allowed to share photos or share any details, but it's a good buck. It's a really big buck, and he's over the moon right now with it. So I gave him a quick call, congratulated him, went and got set up in my spot, and had an 8-point and it was an 8 and a 4. They came in kind of boogied as I was setting up, and then sorry, it's been a long day. Haven't had caffeine all day. I'm surprised I'm still running like I am. But they ran off, and so I finished setting up and was sitting there, and I just saw buck after buck cruising about 80 yards out from me. They were coming out of an area I kind of figured was bedding, and they were cruising through some thick stuff, and I could tell they were looking for does. And I don't know, by 8 o'clock, I had seen like 8 bucks. Anywhere from, forks to good 8s. I think one was a good 10. And then had a couple more bucks come out. Had a big, and a really big 4, just big 4-corn or crab cloth come out. And he was going the opposite direction. And he came through and he worked the scrape. I watched him for a little bit, tried to get him on camera. I don't know if I actually caught him working the scrape or not. And then he moved off the opposite direction from me. Never came close. He was big and unique. I would have taken him. And then had another buck come out. It was smaller. It worked the scrape and it kept looking back over its shoulder, and I couldn't tell what was behind it. Never saw anything behind it. I thought I had seen a deer in the thick close to there right before I saw this other one come out. It might have been the same one, I don't know. But he followed the crab claw, same direction. And I was just sitting there kind of reviewing some of the footage I'd gotten, trying to texting my buddy, see how things had been going, and seeing pictures of his deer because he'd finally gone and got hands on it. And then I had a small fork. Ended up, it's almost legally a 5. He came out, worked the scrape, and I started getting him on camera. And instead of going the same way as the other 2, he came down towards me, just kind of cruising. And I'm not going to pass up meat when I'm looking to put meat in the freezer. It wasn't the caliber buck I was looking for, if I had the choice, but it's the last full weekend of bow season, so I'm glad that I had him come by. He came by at 20 yards, basically. And I plugged him. He had no idea I was there. He ran, I don't know, a couple hundred yards maybe, and crashed down into the bottom. And then someone's coming in. And then I never saw him come out. I just wanted to give him time because I wasn't 100% sure where the shot exited. It looked like it came out through the guts. I know I had entered through a lung, so I was like, I know that's good, but I didn't know if I double lunged him or if it was just nicked and went through the guts. And so I gave him a couple hours, and had a nice 10 come by. And I feel so stupid for this. I got him on camera. I was following, tracking him. I zoomed in, everything. I was running commentary. And he walks out, and I look up to hit the stop on the record, and I had never hit start. So I don't know. I feel bad because beautiful, beautiful deer. His it would have been his G4s, I think. His G4s split, which was really cool. He was a young deer, probably about 2.5, 3 years old, but he was very unique, beautiful deer. And then I got down, went and dressed out my deer, did the gutless method, and packed him out. And on my way out, I ran into a hunter who I've seen his vehicle here a couple times. Older guy, and stopped, talked to him for a little bit, kind of swapped some intel, and I think he's going. I think he's going to go over where I was this morning, tomorrow. So hopefully he has some good luck. But I don't know. It's a long hike in, so I don't know how that's going to go for him. But yeah, I dropped my deer off the truck, went back, got my stuff, took down all my camera gear and sticks and platform and everything. And so I just finished dropping that off here. And so I'm ready to roll. I don't know if I'll make it back out Friday. I need to check accuracy on the rifles for opener on Saturday, but we'll see. Hopefully I make it out Friday evening for a sit. I don't know. Weather's not looking super great, but I mean the weather's not been great right now. It's been too warm, according to most people. But I've seen so much activity in the last couple days. It's been crazy. So anyway, I'll stop jabbering, and I will see you guys next week.
It's late October and I'm still in the hunt for one. I call the Missouri Ghost. In these woods I swear I saw him more than a few times, and I never seen one that big in my life. And they say, boy, if you do, it'll be one to boast. But I tell them I'm used to hunting ghosts. Yeah, you spend as much time as I have in these woods, you start to believe that you see things you never could.